What is up, everybody? It is me, Mike Vanderpool, with the Make It Happen podcast. And I'm here today with a special guest from Cincinnati, the Queen City. Summer Crenshaw is here. She is the CEO of Enterprise Technology Association, and she is here today touring, hanging out in Northwest Ohio, because we have a pretty cool event coming in November, the Great Lakes AI Week.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I'm very excited, so thank you for coming and checking it out.
Thank you for having me.
And excited to hear more about that awesome event. How's your day been so far, just out of curiosity?
Great. It's actually pretty easy to navigate all around Bowling Green through Toledo, and I think I'm going over to Sylvania here after this. So it's pretty easy to navigate. It's fun.
That is one of the awesome things about Northwest Ohio. I live in a little central spot on the edge of a cornfield, and it's about half hour to get from downtown to BG to UT. Yeah, definitely awesome. So is this your first time here?
I've been here a couple of times, but never got to actually spend too much time in Toledo, so I'm happy to be here.
Welcome again to downtown Toledo. We are at the Toledo Tech Loft. This is a pretty cool place where we do all kinds of cool things. One of those cool things is this Make It Happen podcast, where I talk to cool people doing cool things. I am on the host committee for this awesome event, and I'm really excited to learn more, because I don't pay attention to emails or anything else that comes in. I'm sorry, Summer. I'm not very good
we'll forgive you
at that type of stuff. So let's start with this event itself. Can you give me like the summary, the log line, what it is, what's going on here?
Yeah. So Great Lakes AI Week is really a inspired event that's all about bringing the local community together. And we're one of the few events that you'll see. It'll be November 4th through the 6th. And it's really not based on, let's call it a persona. We're actually based on community. So what I mean by that is you're going to have walks of life from academia to government officials to enterprise executives and SMBs, and then literally everything in between. And really the shining star, if you will, is are you engaged and care about the Great Lakes region? And do you really want to find out more about this thing called AI?
Awesome. And how did you get involved in AI? I was taking a look at your LinkedIn. It looks like you've been doing it for quite some time.
Yes.
Fascinating.
An embarrassingly long period of time. So I am a former or recovering tech founder. So about 10 years ago, I started a company called Tiller, which we were a mobile app, which was a AI marketplace for jobs that connected job seekers to companies on demand. So we were one of the first to really look at ways to eliminate bias in recruitment. So I built and scaled that up over the course of 5 years and exited in 2020, and then started pivoting into more consulting and engagements in that capacity. And, really saw, the expression of AI really hitting, the mainstream instead of, the tech scene, and realized, hey, there's this opportunity ahead where we're going to see a big change, and education is going to be one of the biggest challenges. And with AI, oftentimes we put all of our eggs in the tech basket and forget that, human connection is actually the most critical part of all of this. So that's really where creating and building Enterprise Technology Association came to be. It's a member and events company that produces AI weeks really across the country. And our bread and butter is really doing it in locations that are not the standard, coasts,
New York, San Francisco.
We actually we focus on areas that are normally maybe flyover cities, I affectionately call it. But really, we look at this and say, you know what? With AI, there are experts being born every day, quite frankly, because we're all learning quickly. But
YouTube is evidence.
Yeah, exactly. But there's opportunity in every city across America. It's this great democratization of what we're seeing with this tech. So why not showcase what's going on in the Great Lakes or down in Nashville or Atlanta or some of our other cities that we participate in?
Very cool. So what do you mean by democratization of that?
Yeah. So when I started my last company, I was not the technical founder. I was not the one that was behind the scenes coding. So when we saw ChatGPT hit the market, all of a sudden what we were able to manifest now is like we're able to literally bring into existence just by simply typing into a computer and get products on the back end. So, when I was looking at that, I was like, okay, if I were to go back, my last company cost $1.5 million to build, took 6 months and about 13 engineers overall to build the product. I was like, could I actually do this now with this technology? Because I, as somebody that is not a coder, haven't really spent that time in that, that realm, could I recreate this And so I went and used a platform called Lovable and recreated my entire platform in 1 week for $30. So that in and of itself is really amazing. So, when I think about this, I'm like, it is democratization because anyone can now be the tech person.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can actually bring into existence, business opportunities that normally they would never even try because it has been so hard for people to enter into the scene.
Yeah, because back in the day, if you wanted a computer to do some work for you, you had to know a coding language in order to be able to make that happen.
Yep.
Now you can pretty much talk to like a human, and then AI really is just that translator to get the ones and zeros to do what the ones and zeros were doing before now.
Absolutely.
Would you say that as somebody who's been in tech for 35 years, whatever it's been now myself, I compare this to when Google kind of and Yahoo first came out and took what was the internet and made it more available to the masses. Yeah. This is really taking ChatGPT was that Google / AI Yahoo point of making it more accessible.
Yeah, I think it's partially that moment of anyone can actually use the tools, and I think that's great. I think what's really more interesting to me is where we're going in the future is that this is more akin to me like the advent of electricity than it is watching the dot-com boom hit again. I think that we're going to see things rapidly change so broadly that it's really hard to comprehend just how big this will be. It's not just about having ChatGPT on my phone or, being able to take a photo and ask, Grok to do something for me and define things for me, or, teaching my husband who's retired Army, how to use the tool. It's so much more beyond that. It's predicted here within the next 10 years that all disease could possibly be cured because we now have access to tooling where the people that might never have been able to ask the questions or do the research now will have access to it. So we're going to be solving really big challenges, and it's we're going to see lots of opportunity ahead.
Well, and we'll also be making a whole bunch of new problems that we need smart people to solve as well, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's really fascinating is that if we look at what we see on LinkedIn and social media, it is that highly visible. It's the images that people are creating, right? Everybody's had themselves in a plastic cartoon character type thing, right? And within innovation, that's typically the more visible is what people kind of are more aware of. Yeah. But yeah, talking to Justin Beaudry, who was on the host committee as well, I believe is going to be speaking at the event about some of the things that he knows and is aware of and that are going on. Mm-hmm. It's really, really fascinating. So I'm looking forward to the event, Great Lakes AI Week, and I just checked. There's how many people? 40 people already on the list of speakers?
We will have between 110 and 150 speakers over the course of a 3-day period. So, we'll run roughly 4 stages at the same time. So you'll have, so many engaged, and we've got folks that are literally coming from the West Coast to, East Coast. And then obviously the bulk of the community is going to be local and within that 2 to 4 hour, drive time range, which is what we like to see. But, lots of opportunity to engage with folks that maybe you normally don't get to have a conversation with.
So, and I'm going to ask you, who are you looking forward to seeing? Who are the people that must see?
Yeah. Well, if there's some, for me, I dork out on a couple of different groups. Sometimes it is, talking to some policymakers. So we do have some folks that are with the White House and talking about the new policies that are being rolled out, because that's going to impact us all. So that's great to see some folks that are going to be representing that. An individual that we've actually been very fortunate to have at a couple of our shows before in the past is a gentleman that works on Wendy's and their drive-through AI, which, I don't really eat out all that often as far as fast food. But I had talked to, his name is Will, and I talked to Will about what he's working on. And, he's like, hey, we've figured out 20,000 plus ways to order a Dave's Double. And I'm like, that's really cool. But he was like, but that data is going back to Google, and they have a partnership with Google. And so now Google has access to dialects from different zip codes across the United States. And now they're able to create products that are going to help those that might have, vocal deficiencies or can't, engage with their tech in the right way. Now they're actually going to be solving for big problems because Wendy's took that next step in using AI in their drive-through. So I think there's some really interesting use cases that come out, and we're excited to have folks actually hear these use cases and see broader than just, oh, I've got this little tool on my phone.
And I think that's what we need, right? We need more people bumping into each other. This is where the coasts have been ahead of us. The sunshine, probably a little bit of the drugs, but then also the proximity of ideas bumping into each other, right? One of the benefits of the Midwest is we're not all packed in together so much, but this type of event will allow folks in advanced manufacturing to potentially probably bump into artists. And I know from my conversations with those folks, there's definitely innovative ideas that will come from those people hanging out together.
Absolutely.
So, very cool. So can we get into the meat and potatoes of the event? So it starts on November 4th.
Yep.
And how does it kick off?
So we kick off, we actually, interesting enough, we actually kick off with a happy hour. We're a little bit different than a lot of shows. So, in creating our programming, we know that everybody's been into a conference. They walked in, they felt like that, that awkward person. Some people are just naturally wallflowers. They don't know anybody and it just feels awkward. Mm-hmm. We're doing this all for the community. So we should actually start in the community, with a happy hour for all of us to get to know each other a little bit better. So you start those conversations out of the gate. Mm-hmm. And then we'll worry about the programming, which we've got jam-packed programming on Wednesday the 5th and Thursday the 6th. But our goal is to first, let's get conversations going first and foremost, and we'll kick that off there on Tuesday night with a lot of fun and maybe an adult beverage or two.
Where's that happening then?
Possibly Mommy Bay. Right?
So
it's going to be.
Well, we're 5 weeks out, correct? But we're still sorting out some of the nuts and bolts of how it's all going to come down.
And ensuring that we can accommodate.
Yeah.
Because of crowds.
Can you tell me how many people we're going to have so far?
We're estimating 1,000 plus will attend the event. So it's we've got a few hundred that are already engaged right now. But we noticed that number drastically increases roughly 2 weeks before the event. So if I were to guesstimate, I think we're going to hit over 1,000 that will be engaged over the course of 3 days.
Because you've done this multiple places. We just had Columbus AI Week. Yeah. Cincy AI Week.
Yeah.
So why Toledo? Here's the question. Why Northwest Ohio?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to actually be contacted to bring it to the area, and it's something that we get inbound all the time, like, hey, we want to see AI Week in our city, and we want to engage. We started the show in Cincy almost 2 years ago. And Cincinnati was such an amazing, huge event. We had 2,000 attendees at our last show this year in 2025. But what we're really learning is that none of our shows really mirror each other, but they rhyme with one another. So there's programming that looks. Everybody wants to know about certain types of programming, whether that be, what's going on from a regulatory standpoint, what's going on, how to use the products in marketing, or how to use the products for jobs that you have to get done. Those are somewhat consistent from city to city. But what isn't consistent is the local flavor. So what means a lot to the local community. So here, manufacturing is actually a really strong arena. We don't have that down in Cincinnati. Yes, there's manufacturing, but in Cincy, we're not having that conversation. We're having more conversations around consumer packaged goods and the marketing realm, because that's the bread and butter.
The University of Cincinnati has a strong industrial design program. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And then in Nashville, obviously they have a very strong tourism community, entertainment, and healthcare was huge. And then we looked at Atlanta. Atlanta's looks totally different. So, we do have things that are fairly consistent that we'll have reoccurring, but it just doesn't look exactly the same in every city we go to.
I would have loved to have been in Nashville for the conversation of AI and music rights.
Yes.
Yes.
So yes. The Elvis Act is something that we talked deeply about. And, funny enough, and again, talking about cities that are outside of the coast, Tennessee was one of the first to put on the books an AI regulation with the Elvis Act. It wasn't coming out of California or coming out of New York. It was coming out of people wanting to protect their likeness and, their voice and who they are. And that came out of Tennessee. So it's really interesting. And that's what we love to get, deep into these communities. It's because really cool things are happening if you just give a little bit of sunshine and shine the light and be a little bold to allow them to tell the story.
Well, and there's so much happening so quickly that there's no way that one place can own it all.
Nope.
Like, did you see the AI actress or actor that just came out in the news last night?
Yeah.
Like Tilly Norwood or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, the entertainment industry, I don't know how they're
going so bad.
All this stuff. Yeah, it's wild. So advanced manufacturing is important for us. Education also important for us with all the universities and everything else going on. Who do we have coming in from Michigan and Indiana, Illinois? Do we have any?
Yep.
It's going to be from them coming in here.
Yeah, there's folks coming in from really the whole, obviously the region, but we do have folks that are coming in from Google, Cintas, AWS, as mentioned, the White House. So that's a little bit farther.
The White House.
Yeah, like the. Well, I'm not bringing the White House too.
Well, I meant
but
so not the White House in White House, Ohio, where I live.
No.
You're talking.
No.
Okay.
We're bringing in the White House. That's really funny because there's a White House location in Cincinnati too, which is really funny. It's a great restaurant.
Yeah, if you've been to White House, Ohio, where I live, you've been to the White House Inn. That's
great.
Nice. So, and you did mention that somebody contacted you. Who was that?
It was Tom Bush.
Tom Bush. Let's go. Thank you, Tom, for all you're doing for our community. Tom is with started Actual Reality Technologies, also empowered AI, and
has a great relationship with Bowling Green State University.
Mm-hmm.
And between the two groups, they were very, gracious to say, hey, we'll host. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, okay, well, we've got a host location that can accommodate the influx of folks and allows us to really bring the magic to the region and really showcase that, at the end of the day, like if we look at the Great Lakes, depending on where you drop that little pen, it's one of the largest, economic powerhouses in the world. Yeah. And I don't think most people know that that's what's going on in here. And so our goal is to use this as a springboard to showcase everything that is happening around the Great Lakes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Motor City, Detroit, Industrial Revolution, industry, and all of everything that impacted the reason Glass City where we are now. Because of that, yeah, it's pretty cool where we're at right now with the potential is with AI coming together as a region to be able to not necessarily compete with the coast, but they find ways to synergize, right? What can we do based on where we're at and the reality of who we are and what our environment looks like?
Yeah, sometimes I think it's like raising the flag instead of planting a flag. I think too often cities are like, I'm going to be the Silicon Prairie, right? It's like, well, you don't need to be like them. You are unique. Like, you just need to be able to tell the story and tell the world. And the reason that we do this city by city and we have this little tour, if you will, it's because we want to also interconnect other cities so that we do have folks that will come in from the Atlantas, the Nashvilles, the Cincy's. They'll come up here to Great Lakes and be able to have these really cool conversations that lead to really fun synergies as well.
And November is typically a really nice time here. It's not, there won't be snow, there won't be any, I'm not going to, this typically though, November's
okay.
Time. It's not this 80, 90 degree kind of walking around, dressed up, sweating a little bit.
Right.
It's hoodie weather.
Okay.
So,
love it.
So how do people get involved? How do people find out more?
Yeah, so we're about 5 weeks out. So we do have a few speaking slots available. So if you are a speaker, please go to GreatLakesAIWeek.com. That's also how you can get involved. We do need tons of volunteers because it's like herding cats when you got 1,000 people running around over the course of 3 days. So we definitely need volunteers. We do need, those that want to engage in the full AI week. Something that we do that is unique is that, yes, we do have 2 full days of programming that will be at the BGSU Student Union. It will be located there. But we're also saying, you know what? You're in the community. If you want to host something on Monday or Tuesday or Friday, please host something. We actually have a calendar that you can submit other events that you might want to do during that time period. So this becomes a huge experience for the entire region. And I think we've got special announcements coming from the mayor's office as well on Monday before the event too.
Are they going to give you the key to the city?
I hope so. I hope.
Awesome. So, and then just what's next for this AI week? What do you have coming up after this? For those of us that want to hop on the train.
Yeah, if you want to go on tour, our next show will be in Louisville that will come in February. Then we have Atlanta is in April, Nashville in May, Cincinnati is in June. So we've got
I've drank in all of those places.
Yeah.
So yeah,
come on tour. We love our crew that comes with us everywhere.
Where will you be in Louisville? Just out of curiosity.
The Melwood Arts Center. That's so cool. It's a really cool, like industrial, like just unique vibe. So we're happy to have it there.
So what are your goals?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm a glutton for punishment. Like I joke, I am a recovering tech founder, and part of me is almost like waiting for that next spark to happen as far as, what's that next technology problem I want to solve for, and I just don't have the big problem yet. There's that. But honestly, when I look at the landscape, consistently when there's been a revolution of any type of tech, the Midwest gets left behind. And quite often, all of the eyes go on to Silicon Valley or New York City. And then, the rest of us are waiting to learn what our world's going to look like because of what they've rolled out. And for me, I think if we can all connect and, collaborate, we've got an ability to raise the flags instead of saying, hey, let's look like this other city. I think we can all advance in such a cool way. And I'm hoping that we're able to, create this mechanism, to be the loud, stage to tell the world what's actually going on.
And we do have some really nice momentum here. We have literal green fields to build on. Like it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I appreciate, you bringing this here. It's obviously going to bring a lot of eyes. We have so many cool people doing cool things in the AI space, the tech space. I mean, Absolutely. It's really, our problem is we don't necessarily shout it because of that old Midwestern that's going to let in that pocket. So we're shouting right now. Yep. Please, 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 everyone. Great Lakes AI Week, November 4th through the 6th. Summer Crenshaw with, Louise, CTA? ETA.
ETA, yes. ETA. Enterprise Technology Association.
And CEO of ETA, Tom Bush, making all of this cool stuff happen. BGSU has their AIX kind of program that they've got going on. Like lots of amazing stuff. I'm sure there's going to be some phenomenal conversations. Summer, is there anything else that you want to share about this event? So
the only thing that I would add is I still need female speakers and I need women to engage. This is probably one of the more challenging things. When I started building this company with my co-founders, I said I cannot be the woman walking into a room full of men, and I cannot stare at a stage that's full of men. We call them manels. I don't want just manels, right? I want female voices to be heard. So please, if you're a woman, please get involved. Again, greatlakesaiweek.com. We also have a phenomenal experience on Thursday, the 6th. It's the Women in Tech and AI Breakfast. It's completely free at BGSU before we kick off the rest of our full programming, but it's an experience to hear from other amazing women from the region. Just hear what they're doing, what they're experiencing. Sometimes it's tech related, sometimes it's life related. But at the end of our time, we do something called a serendipity salon and improve that. If you put a little effort in, some magic can happen, and we want to have that filled with amazing women from the region. Well, and can I riff off that a little bit? Yeah, go for it. So I've taught in the cornfields, I've taught in the city. We just need as much diversity as possible in the room. Absolutely. And, as I said, I taught at a community college, and a student who was looking to take an art class, or wanted to take an art class, or had to take an art class, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but they said, well, I don't want to take that class. I'm not good at art. I'm like, well, you take the class to get good. So don't think that you have to be like an AI guru or even an AI dabbler, right? If you just want to come and learn, and you can probably be a wallflower and hide and just listen, but just
You have to come and start to learn and experience what's going on in this space, because it is going to be transformative.
Yeah.
And if we don't want to continue to be 10, 5, 10, 15 years behind the coast, we're
Right.
all going to have to kind of
Yeah.
rise up
Yeah.
together.
And our goal is to just turn this like AI curiosity into AI capability. It's you've got to take that first step. And, and to your point, it doesn't matter if you're just somebody in the community that's like, hey, this sounds really interesting, I want to learn something, that's fine. You could also be a startup founder or somebody that's, aspiring founder that just needs that next connection, that next conversation that like leads to the spark. I've seen deals get made, and I've also seen people relocate to cities because they fell in love with the local community and what they were doing. So really fun and amazing things can happen out of these AI weeks.
Well, Summer, thank you so much for helping to make this happen here. Again, Great Lakes AI Week, November 4th through the 6th.
Yep.
GreatLakesAIweek.com.
Yep.
How you can figure out and find out all the things that are happening. From me, Mike Vanderpool, and the Make It Happen podcast, Summer Crenshaw, the CEO of Enterprise Technology Association. We'll just keep making it happen, folks.
Thank you.